Good morning once again, juniors. Again, pasensya nga na delay ta karon. Us ka oras pud nga delay kay wa pud mi nag-expect nga wala ang signal sa globe karon. So wa man nga ni pag dryra na mo, so pasensya gud kaadto. So sige na mo kuan. Padazon ta. So once again, good day juniors. It has been a tough ride for us this past few weeks, right? But nonetheless, we would like to extend our sincerest gratitude to all of you for joining us today despite your busy schedule. By the way, I am Renz John Lacerna, your Migo and your host for today's webinar event entitled Time Value of Money. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge the presence to the most ever active and ever supportive Dean of Accountancy, Mr. Tristan June Esclamado, CPA MBA, for being with us today. Pleasant morning to you, sir. And to the rest of the departmental instructors who might be joining us also, a pleasant morning to all of you, ma'am and sir. So if you guys are thinking, why are we here virtually today? It is because we, the fourth-year accountancy students, are tasked to conduct webinars that provide accounting-related topics for the rest of the GPians. And it so happened that you, the third years, are our target audience. This is also our way of connecting and communicating with you guys, since we can't personally meet in our campus. So katuig ra tayo nag-uban, no? Thus, we hope to have a healthy discussion with you as we discuss the topic on the time value of money. Before the discussion proper, may I request everyone to please mute your microphones, please, to avoid interruptions. Thank you. So without further ado, late nagzutakadzo, let's start. Let me introduce to you all our first speaker who will discuss the intro of time value of money and intro of interest rates and simple interest rates. Give a virtual applause to Miss Corazon Lamadora.
So, good morning, junior GPNs. I'm Corazon Leonor Lamadora, BS Accountancy Senior, and your first speaker for today. I'm going to discuss about the introduction of time value, interest, and simple interest. Before proceeding to the discussion in doing this webinar, you juniors would get to learn the following. The value of money with respect of time, importance of time value of money and how it will help in making different decisions, how future value and present value of money is calculated, and different techniques and methods for calculating time value of money. So let's get started. So, time value of money is the idea that money available at the present time is worth more than the same amount in the future due its potential earning capacity. So, this core principle of finance holds that provided money can earn interest, any amount of money is worth more the sooner it is received. It means that if an individual is given an option A to receive a 10,000 pesos now and an option B to receive a 10,000 pesos in the future, the individual prefers the option A because even if the amount is the same, they can do much more with the money if they have it now. While in the option B, the value that they receive is the future value of the money. Then, time value of money is an important concept in financial management. It can be used to compare investment alternatives and to solve problems involving loans, leases, and savings. The time value of money is singularly important amongst all the concepts and principles used in the field of financial management. Crux of time value concept is that money has a time value. A peso to be received a year from now is not worth as much today as peso to be received immediately. It is because the money that being received now we can invest and gain an interest over a period of time, while the money that being received in the future would be still the future value of the money. And the next is time value of money helps us in knowing the value of money invested. As time changes, value of money invested in any project or firm also changes, and its present value is calculated by using mathematical formula which tell us the value of money with respect of time. So PV equals FV 1 over 1 plus I to the power of n. PV represents as the present value, states an amount of money today is worth more than the same amount in the future, while the future value is the money to be received in the future. And I here stands for the rate of return, and the N is the number of periods future value is being received. The formula can be used in different circumstances to help investors or savers understand the value of money today in relation to its earning potential in the future. It is an important piece of understanding the effect inflation has on our money and why investing early can help increase the value of your peso by giving it time to grow and beat inflation rates. And now we will discuss about the certain reasons which determine that money has time value. First is the risk and uncertainty. As we know, future is never certain and we can't determine the risks involved in future because outflow of cash is in our hand as payment, whereas there is no certainty for future cash inflows. So since the future is characterized by uncertainty, individuals or business concerns prefer to have current income rather than having the same payment at later date. They have apprehension that the party making the payment may default due to insolvency or other reasons. The next one is inflation. In an inflationary economy, the money received today has more purchasing power than the money to be received in the future. In other words, a peso today represents a greater real purchasing power than a peso in the future. As a result, those who have to receive the money prefer to receive the same early as possible, while those who have money to pay the money try to delay the payment. And the next one is consumption. Individuals generally prefer current consumption to future consumptions. Most people have preference for present consumption over future consumptions of goods and services, either because of the urgency of their present wants or because of the risk not being in a position to enjoy future consumption that may be cause illness or death because of inflation. And lastly is investment opportunities. An investor can profitably use to receive money today to get higher return tomorrow or after a certain period of time. Most individuals prefer present cash to future cash because of the available investment opportunities to which they can put present cash to earn additional cash. For example, an individual offered 5,000 pesos now or 5,000 pesos 1 year from now. They would prefer 5,000 pesos now if he could earn on it an interest of, to say, 500 pesos by putting it in a savings account in a bank for 1 year. His total cash in 1 year would be 5,500 pesos. Unlike sa ang money nga 5,000 pesos nga iyang ma-receive in the future, maura gihapon iyang value in the future kay wa man niya gi-invest lahi sa kanang sa money nga nadawat niya now kay pwede man to niya i-invest nga makagain og kanang interest or i-invest niya. Then importance of time value of money. First is in investment decisions. Small businesses often have limited resources to invest in business operations, activities, and expansions. One of the factors we have to look at is how to invest is the time value of money. The time value of money is important in investment decisions because it allows the individual to make a more informed decision about what to do with their money. The time value of money can help you understand which option may be best based on interests, inflation, and risks and return. It can also be used to help you understand how much money to save in an account if you have a certain goal in mind. So, and the last one is in capital budgeting decision. When a business chooses to invest money in a project such as expansion, a strategic acquisition, or just the purchase of a new piece of equipment, it may be years before that the project begins producing a positive cash flow. The business needs to know whether those future cash flows are worth the upfront investments. Time value of money is important in capital budgeting decisions because it allows individuals and small businesses owners to adjust cash flows for the passage of time. And in using the time value of money, it is the best way to determine how to plan for or bring about future economic growth. And now we will discuss about the methods in calculating future value. There are two methods in calculating future value, simple interest and compound interest. But I will focus only in the simple interest because the next reporter would be discussed the compound interest. So, simple interest, it is the interest paid in the case of borrowed money or earned in the case of invested money as the principal only. While compound interest, it is the interest that is paid on the original amount or principal as well as on any interest earned but not withdrawn during earlier periods. So, the main difference between the two is that simple interest is calculated only on original amount while compound interest is calculated on the principal amount and the accumulated interest of previous periods. For the formula of simple interest, we have I equals PV times I times N. I is the equals simple interest while PV is the principal amount at time or the present value. While I is the interest rate per time period and N is the number of period. To discuss this formula, we will give some examples to furtherly para makasabot mo ani nga simple interest. So for examples of simple interest, what is the simple interest on $100 at 10% per annum for 6 months? So the formula is I equals PV times I times N. So substituting I for $100 times 0.10 or the 10% per annum for 6 months and 0.5 for the N yields. 0.5 ni si Jakay, 6 months naman ang require. So 6 divide 12 equals 0.5. So the answer is $5. For the second example, if Isaac bought a house and borrowed $30,000 at a 10% annual interest rate, what would be his first month's interest payment? So we will use the formula I equals PV times I times N, and we will be substituting the PV of $30,000 times 0.10, and for the N yields is times 1 over 12 kay. Ang gipangita niya is the first month's interest payment of the kanang iyang loan. So the answer would be $250. And that would be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Lamadora. Now we also have here Miss Cindy Lador. She will discuss the compound interest and future value. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Good morning, juniors. Now I'll be discussing another concept in finance, which is compound interest. When we say compound interest, it's interest that accrues on the initial principal and the interest as well. So basically, when we say compound interest, what the fuck? Mo na ang competition nga interest nga nag-compute og interest from the interest as well. So later I will show the illustration or example aron masabtan ra ninyo. Compounding of interest allows a principal amount to grow a faster rate than simple interest, which is calculated as a percentage of only the principal amount. So medyo mas dako ang growth ng money nato diri. Imagine yung interest nga nagka-interest pa, tas nag-interest na pod hangtod sa nagpatong-patong na ang iyang interest. So this method computes interest more than once during the term of the loan or investment. It is as if the interest itself, after being accrued, also earns an interest. So more than once yung computations kay pag naay mga interest nga nag-accrue, apil na to sa pag-compute nato sa interest. So now I will show the example. So at the beginning of the year, 2,000 was invested at a deposit account earning 8%, compoundedly annually for 2 years. So how much will be the investment after 2 years? Huh? So basically, would happen is syempre mag-start yun ta sa 2,000 year zero. Then after a year, of course, you compute the interest this year for the first year. So which is 160. At the end of the first year, yung account mo will be 160. So ngayon, the difference is ang 160 na apil siya, nauban siya sa pag-compute sa interest for the year. So basically, kining 160 nga interest siya, nagkaroon din ng interest na 172.80. Mo ni siyang interest sa second year na. So therefore, our balance is 2,332.80. So in contrast transitions sa simple interest, what would happen pag sa simple interest, pag nag-compute ka ng interest from the second year, ang magiging basis mo is supposed to be the principal na 2,000. So pag 2,000 times 8, 160 ra gihapon ang imong makuha. Because of this compounding principle, medyo mas dali mudako ang imong interest. Sa mapansin nimo sa simple interest, di ba? Kay kung kani 160 ra ni ang imong makuha ingani. So karon kay ang 160 nag-interest man 172 na. Nahimo na siyang 172.80. So basically that's the concept of compounding. So next, compound interest is the difference between the compound amount and the original principal. And when we say compound amount, that is final sum principal plus interest at the end of the period. Kay pag dire kani sa 2,332.80, this is the compound amount. So the difference between this sa compound interest, sa compound amount, and the original principal na 2,000 The difference niya ay kining 332.80. Basically, mo na dya ang giingon nga compound interest or katong tanan nga interest nga na-accumulate nimo during the borrowing period or katong pag-investing period nimo. Para sa John si Dya o dali ra si Dya masabtan o dili na mo mag drawing ingani nga line, damang pud tay formula. Para makompute nimo ni si Dya diri sa kani 2,332.80. So the formula of the compound amount is A is compound amount or future value is equal to the principal or present value times 1. Meaning 1 is given na si Dya, then plus I, interest rate per period raised to n, total compounding period. So let's try the same example. So basically, what will happen is 2,000 mao man siya ang atong principal, tas atong i-times siya sa muna atong principal. 1 is given na fixed na plus 8%, 0.08 is normally written in decimal raised to 2 years, mao man atong compounding period. So we all know in mathematics na atay Pendas rule. So atong unahon ni og compute kining nasa sud nga parentheses. So copy the principal 2,000, then mao na ni atong nakuha 1.1664. Then ato na ni siyang i-times, then we'll have the same answer 2,332.80. So now we'll have another exercise. At the beginning of the year, nag-invest 100,000, 12% compounded annually. So how much would be the investment after 2 years? Let's use using the formula. So atong principal kay 100,000 man, then 1 given na, then ang kani 0.12 mo na itong interest, then atong i-times to 2 years. Then, copy the 100,000 principal, then mo na itong nakuha ganina, 1.2544, then atong total is 125,440. Nag-try mo din ha, guys. So ganina kay 2 years man ang atong gigamit nga kuan, karon ato na pong himunog 3 years. Mura gyapon si Dya ang flow, guys. So atong principal kay 88,000 man, then 1 plus 0.10 the interest, then raised to 3 years. Copy gihapon ang atong principal nga 88,000. Then nga itong nakuha sa pag-compute sa parentheses 1.331. So the answer nato for the compound amount of the future value would be 117,128. Uman ako, guys. That's all, guys. Hope. Any questions? None? None? Okay, thank you for not asking questions.
Thank you, Cindy. Are you guys okay right there? Okay ba mo dira? So before we continue, no, ganahan mo magduwa ta. Di nang duwa-duwa nga pareha sa basta magduwa-duwa. So mag-icebreaker ta karon. So kaning icebreaker is pang-refresh niya sa inyong nakatunan ba sa past 2 reporters sa katong simple interest, o kadtong pag-compute sa compound interest sa future value. Muna to si Ja. So we prepared questions for you to answer. Siyempre, related na po sa atong discussion karon. Also, warm up ni si Ja kay after sa tanang mga report, natay short quiz with prizes. Siyempre, so, take this icebreaker seriously kay, wata kayo ba, o kamo day makadaog sa among short quiz after may mag-report tanan, naramay premyo. Sa mechanics is you can comment or chat your answers sa atong chat box. Ang correct answers, flat 1 sa mga major. Yay! 100 sa quiz ni Sir TJ inig kuan kano sa to basta. Kani nga icebreaker is wa pa ni premyuha ang sa quiz na to after may mag-report tanan. We will give you 30 seconds to answer every question. So related ni sa simple interest o compound interest rates. So let's go. Problem number 1, simple interest. Hazel invested $10,000 in a savings bank account that earned 2% simple interest. Find the interest earned if the amount was kept in the bank for 4 years. So choices: A, $600, B, $800, C, $450, and D, $750. Timer starts now. So the correct answer for problem number 1 is B. Ba, kasi nakauna?
Si Michael Sonoria.
Ang unang naka-answer sa correct question is si Michael Sanoria. Yahay, plot 1 kang Sir TJ. Ani nga topic. For problem number 2, Miss Vivian plans to place her money in a certificate of deposit that matures in 3 months. The principal is $20,000 and 5% interest is earned annually. She wants to calculate how much interest she will earn in those 3 months. Choices: A, $150, B, $200, C, $250, and D, $300. So go. Go, go, go. The correct answer for problem number 2 is letter C. Ang unang nakakuha sa answer is si Earl Philip Lyndon Pisanya. Congratulations, plot 1 kang Sir TJ. Now we proceed to problems relating to compound interest and future value. So, number 1, at the beginning of the year, ABC invested $50,000 in a certificate of deposit for 2 years at 10% interest compounded annually. What will be the value of the said invested at the end of 2 years? Choices: A, $55,500, B, $65,500, C, $60,500, and D, $65,000. Go! So the correct answer for problem number 1 is letter C. Kasi
Naomi Zero.
ang unang nakakuha sa answer is si Noemi Zero. Naplatuhan naman ni Daang Sir. Congratulations. Problem number 2. You invested $100,000 for 3 years at the BGTD Credit Union at 12% interest compounded annually. What will your investment worth after 3 years? A, $120,450 and 8 cents. B, $140,492 and 8 cents. C, $140,492.5. And D, $130,400.2 cents. Go. The correct answer for this problem is letter B. Si una nakakuha ang answer ba? Si asa man ani?
Wait, si na.
Si pa dahil. Lapas naman ka. Okay. Si Jean Pons. Congrats. Ponce day. For the second part of our webinar, we will now talk about present value and annuities and some additional cash flow patterns to be presented by our next speakers, Miss Jean Lagusad, and to be followed by my Migo, Heriberto Lamban III. Let's give them a warm welcome, please.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Lacerna. So good day, everyone. I am Jean Lagusad, and I will be talking about the present value and annuity. So before I proceed, the flow of the report is, first, we will define the terms what is present value, future value, annuity and its two types, the annuity due and ordinary annuity. Second, we will how to solve the present value of annuity due, future value of annuity due, present value of ordinary annuity, and future value of ordinary annuity, and some example problems. Okay, so let's begin. But as a starter, I have a question to ask. So, do you ever wonder how much your money today will amount in the future if invested and compounded at some interest rate? Or, if you have a future amount in your head that you want to earn, what is the amount of that future value in present if invested today to earn that amount in the future? So, in order to know that, we will need to calculate it using the present value calculations to determine the amount today that is equivalent to some future amount of money. So first, what is present value? So present value, or PV, is the current value of a future sum of money or stream of cash flows given a specified rate of return. So in other words, the amount of your money today that will earn interest if and when invested. So, as an example, suppose your banker offers to pay you $255.20 in 5 years if you deposit X dollars today at an annual 5% interest rate. So, this is compounded interest. So, atong given, FV, or the future value, or atong amount nga madawat in 5 years is the $255.20. The interest is 5% and the number of years is 5 years. So to find the value of that future money or future value in present, we will use PV equals FB times the quantity of 1 over 1 plus the interest raised to n. So let's substitute. PV is equals to $255.20 times the quantity of 1 over quantity of 1 plus the interest 5%, which is 0.05, times raised to 5. So our PV is $200. So here, so the amount that we will invest today is $200 in order nga maka-earn taog $255.20 in 5 years from now. Okay, next. Future value. Future value, or FV, is the value of a current asset at a future date based on an assumed rate of growth. So, dire, in other words, the future amount of our money today if invested. So, example, assume a $1,000 investment is held for 5 years in a savings account with 10% interest compounded annually. So atong given, PV, which is ang atong value sa money karon, nga atong i-invest, which is $1,000 with interest 10% and number of years nga imo sadyang i-invest 5 years. So para makita ng iyong future value, we will use the formula FV equals PV times 1 plus I raised to N. So FV equals $1,000 times 1 plus 0.10 raised to 5. So our future amount of $1,000 in 5 years, if compounded annually, is worth $1,610.51. Okay, so what is annuity? An annuity is the payment or receipt of equal cash flows per period for a specified amount of time. And nasa J2 types, which is the ordinary annuity and the annuity due. So, ordinary annuity is one in which the payments or receipts occur at the end of each period. So, dire, we pay after the interest is earned. So, what will happen? Our first payment will not earn an interest. Next is the an annuity due. So, is one in which the payments or receipts occur at the beginning of each period. So, opposite to ordinary annuity, we pay before the interest is earned. So, our first payment will then earn an interest. So, how to solve? Present value of annuity due is using the formula P equals PMT or the payment nga imong ibayad karon times 1 minus quantity of 1 over 1 plus R raised to N over R. So, R dire is mo ni siya ang interest. Times 1 plus R. So, again, annuity due kay before man ta sa earn, sa pag beginning pa ni siya sa period patamo payment. So, di ba, ang giingon nga dire, ang atong first payment is mo earn og interest. That's why sa ijang last na si Jai 1 plus R. And then, future value of annuity due. So, para makuha ang future value, we'll use the formula FV of annuity due equals PMT times 1 plus interest raised to N minus 1 over I times 1 plus I. Okay, so examples. So, John wants to apply for a loan payable over a period of 5 years from a bank that charges 12% interest per annum compounded annually. If he can only be able to pay back $10,000 per annum at the beginning of each year, what is the loan amount he will get? So, dire, gipangitaan ta, kanang, naay kaya sa nga ibayad ra at the kada beginning of each year, which is $10,000. So, that is our PMT. And the interest is 12%. So, number of years is 5. So, using the formula P is equals to PMT times 1 minus 1 minus times 1 over 1 plus R raised to N over R times 1 plus R. Substitute the values. So, we will have PV equals $10,000 ang ijang ibayad every beginning of each year times 1 minus 1 over 1 plus the interest 0.12 raised to 5 over 0.12 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.12. So, ang amount nga pwede niya mautang karon is $40,373.49. Next is annuity due in future value. So, John deposits $3,000 into a savings account at the beginning of each year for a period of 10 years. This investment earns 5% interest compounded annually. Calculate how much John will receive in 10 years' time. So, dire, gipangitaan pod is, if mo invest ko no si John og 3,000 karon in 10 years with 5% interest compounded annually, pila ang ijahang ma-receive in after 10 years. So, given, PMT is equals to $3,000. Interest is 5% and the number of years is 10. So, using the formula FV of annuity due is equals to PMT times the quantity of 1 plus I raised to N minus 1 over I times the quantity of 1 plus I. So, substituting all the values, FV is equals to $3,000 times 1 plus 0.05 raised to 10 minus 1 over 0.05 times 1 plus 0.05. So, ang amount dahil nga isang invest karon nga 3,000 if compounded annually with 5% interest, in 10 years makadawat si John og $39,620.36. Okay, next. So, how to solve the present value of ordinary annuity and the future value of ordinary annuity. So, ordinary annuity is solved using the formula P equals PMT times 1, the quantity, 1 minus the quantity of 1 over quantity of 1 plus R raised to N over R. And ang future value of ordinary annuity is solved using the FV equals PMT times the quantity of 1 plus I raised to N minus 1 over I. Okay, for example, ordinary annuity in present value. So John wants to apply for a loan payable over a period of 5 years from a bank that charges 12% per annum, compounded annually. If he can only be able to pay back $10,000 per annum, what is the loan amount he will get? So dire same ra sila og example sa una, but dire ang ijang style sa payment is through ordinary annuity, which means every end of the period. So, ang given dire is interest, which is 12%, number of years, 5 years, and ang ijang amount nga ibayad every end of the period is $10,000. So, using the formula P equals PMT times 1 minus the quantity of 1 over quantity of 1 plus R raised to N over R. So, substituting all the values, PV is equals to $10,000 times the quantity of 1 minus quantity of 1 over quantity of 1 plus 0.12 raised to 5 over 0.12. So, ang ijahang loan nga utang karon is $36,047.76. Okay, so next is the ordinary annuity in future value. So John deposits $3,000 into savings account at the end of each year for a period of 10 years. This investment earns 5% interest compounded annually. Calculate how much John will receive in 10 years time. So diri gipangita how much na pod ang madawat ni John if mo deposit siya karon og $3,000 in 10 years time nga i-compound siya 5% interest annually. Okay, so given PMT is equals to $3,000, interest is 5%, and the number of years is 10 years. So using the formula of FV is equals to PMT times the quantity of 1 plus I raised to N minus 1 over I. Okay, substituting all the values, we have FV is equals to $3,000 times 1 plus 0.05 raised to 10 minus 1 over 0.05. So, ang amount na madawat ni John after 10 years is $37,733.6,776 or $37,733.68. That's all for my topic. Thank you.
So, good morning everyone. I am Herberto Arlamban III, and I will be reporting about the present value and some additional cash flow patterns. So, the present value of 3 additional types of cash flow streams are examined in this stream, namely perpetuities, uneven cash flows, and deferred annuities. So, when we talk about perpetuities, a perpetuity is a financial instrument that promises to pay an equal cash flow per period forever. So it is like an annuity, but it is forever. So an infinite series of payments, therefore a perpetuity may be thought of as an infinite annuity. Some bonds like preferred stocks to take the form of a perpetuity because these special securities never mature. That is, there is no obligation on the part of the issuer to redeem these bonds at their face value at any time in the future. So a financial instrument such as this provides the holder with a series of equal periodic payments into the indefinite future. So ang nakanais aning perpetuity is kanang magsige ra kag dawat ani murag forever na gud ba ug maka start na kag invest. So consider for example a financial instrument that promises Sorry. So consider, for example, a financial instrument that promises to pay an infinite stream of equal annual payments or cash flows of PMT. PMT stands for payment, and the T in so the PMT stands for the payment, and the T is equal. It means the number of years that is going for that period. So PV per is present value per period of depend, and the zero it depends on the how many years it's going to take for you to kung sa imong kwentahon ba of this financial instrument. It can be represented as follows. So present value per period equals to payment divided over parenthesis 1 plus I, and so on and so forth. The difference is that for every period you use for the power of 2, for the power of 3, depending on what period it is. So if it is for the period of 4, then you're going to use the for the power of 4. So or using the summation notation that is on the screen. So the I in this equation is that the I is the interest. So if there is 10%, then you're going to use a 0.010 on that. And yes, that's right. It should be apparent that the equation represents a special type of annuity where the number of periods for the annuity equals infinity. So ang kaning siya nga kaning solution is magamit ra ni siya if pang infinity gid siya kanang dili na siya mahuman. So for example, assume that Kansas City Power and Light Series E preferred stock promises payment of $4.50 per year forever, and that an investor requires a 10% rate of return on this type of investment. So how much would the investor be willing to pay for this kind of security? So that is simple. We're going to use the 4.50 and divide it by 10% rate. So this is the solution. So for the 4.50 here, wala yung drawing. The 4.50 here is divided by 0.10, and the answer is 45. So an examiner of the PV interest for 10% in table 4 indicates that the value in 10% column increases as the number of year increases, but at a decreasing rate. So if magsample ta kanang 10%, no, so sa 10%, so magsubay ta sa katong column, which I am going to show in a few minutes. Ang ija atong style is sa the number of years go by, ang interest niya sa number of periods mag-ana mo gamay ang ijang percentage ay ang ijang multiplier ba. So mora na siya. So next, so the person mora to siya para sa perpetuities. So next is we're going to use a perpetuity, but the payment stream is dili siya parehas atong ganina nga steady ra or straight ra. So parehas atong Kansas o nga 4.50 siya per year. So ang kaning sunod na to is an even payment stream. So bali sa karon nga year is 2.50, sa next year 3.50. So sige siya usab-usab. So many problems in finance. Sorry guys if pas-pas ra kadyo. So kubaalay ko. So many problems in finance cannot be solved according to the simplified format of the present value of an annuity, because the periodic cash flows are not always equal. So consider an investment that is expected to produce a series of unequal payments. So payment 1, payment 2, payment 3 over the next few periods is dili sila equal. The present value of this uneven payment stream is equal to the sum of the present values of the individual payments algebraically. So sa kanis nga style ato siyang manumanuhon nga i-add ang kadtong na mga changes ba sa kadtong kuan sa payment stream. So same ra gyapon siya og computation atong sa computation sa kadtong perpetuities, pero ang nakalahi lang man ani is ang value diretso ang atong i-change. So sample ani sa for example, suppose the Gillette company is evaluating an investment in new equipment that will be used to manufacture a new product it has developed. So the equipment expected to have a useful life of 5 years and yield the following stream of cash flows payments over the 5-year period. So atong makita diri is na plus 100,000, 150, negative 50,000, 200, and 100,000. So take note nga sa year 3 is nag-negative siya. This is due to na changes sa ilang changes nga nahitabo sa ilang manufacturing nga murag wa nila nagamit ang ilang product nga gi-develop or kaning ilang equipment. So ang atong pagwintaan na is kay 10% man ni siya. 10% ang ijang interest rate of return sa kani ilang equipment. So ang kani atong gamiton nga present value interest factor formula, ang kaning 1 over 1 plus I to the power of n. So ang I ani is mo ni siya ang interest, ang n is ang number of periods. So ang kadtong equipment bitaw ang atong istoryahan is 10% mo to siya. So mo ni siya dire. Mo ni siya ang table bali. Ang kaning table murag pinasadyon na laman ni siya pero inig ka na mag-exam na gajud nga tarong, magamit mo aning kaning formula kaning akong gi-circulan. So for the sake of reporting laman para dili ta madugay is kaning 10% ni diya nga sa kadtong equipment ato na diyang ikwenta diri sa period n. So year 1 mo ni ang 0.909. Then sa year 2 0.826, sa 3 0.751, year 4 0.683, and sa year 5 0.621. So mana siya, so ang kaning 0.909 mo na siya ang atong i-multiply sa kaning 100,000, and 0.826 para sa 150, then sa negative 50,000 dire, and so on and so forth. So makita na nato siya dire sa kaning sa kaning computation na gajud mismo nga ang kaning PVIF mo ni siya ang katong akong gipakita ninyo guys nga katong table diya ang 10 mo ni siya ang interest, diya ang 1 mo nang year 1. So ang kani si diya mabutang ni siya dire baligi gi-change na ba 0.909. So 100,000 times 0.909 diya kani na pud sunod diya kani kay negative man so i-minus jud na siya. Then kani plus diya mo na niya mo gawas ang 375,950. So mo inganaon ra ang sa uneven cash flows. So inigkwentahan na ni diya iniingani so 100,000 kay gi-multiplyan naman niya to siya sa katong kuan sa 0.909 mo na niyang nahimog 9,900 nga na. Then so on so forth. Present value of cash flows is 375,950. So na ni J style para sa spreadsheet gajud mismo, but we're not gonna dive in deeper sa kanis siyang kuan kay medyo technical na ni siya kinahanglan na gajud og kanang serious na gajud nga pagtudlo. So forward lang mo ni sa inyong mga computer nga subjects. So skip ta na. And the next topic is the present value of deferred annuities. So in finance, one encounters problems where an annuity begins more than 1 year in the future. It could be because kanang nagplano na ka ba nga karon ka mag-start og deposit ay karon ka mag-start og invest, then in a few years pa nimo siya kanang kinahanglan siya nga gamiton. So maadyo na siya kay ato na siyang i-invest karon kay magsigira man na siya dako. So as soon as you can mas dako jud siya mas ladyo na siya sa karon nga time. So for example, suppose that you wish to provide for the college education of your daughter. She will begin college 5 years from now. So 5 years siya no 5 years mag-start ang daughter. So 5 years pa niya kinahanglan ang ijang kinahanglan nga 15,000. And you wish to have 15,000 available for her at the beginning of each year in college. So 5 years from now mag-start na siya first year, kinahanglan na siya og 15,000. How much must be invested today at a 12% annual rate of return in order to provide the 4-year 15,000 annuity for your daughter? So, maura gyapon siya nga formula ang atong gamiton kani gyapon nga 1 over 1 plus interest to the power of the period. So, ang kani siya is 12% man. Na dire kita na 12% siya. So, dire ta magtan-aw sa 12%. And then ang kano sa man gamiton sa daughter. So sa year 5, so sa ang period 5 atong tan-awon. Diya ato na siyang i-match dire. So ang interest ana is 0.567. So dapat ang imong i-invest ana nga time dapat ma-multiply siya sa 0.567 diya maka abot na siya sa 15,000. So year 6, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8. Bali inig year 8 mo graduate na ang daughter. Damo na siya 0.507 452 404. So next na nato si Ja is ang so sa payment nga 15,000 kani i-multiply na nato siya dire sa kaning 567 kay 12% sa year 5 567. So kani ja kani then 0.507 and so on. Ja multiply and equal na siya sa present value nila upat ang kaning 8,505, 7,605, 6,780, and 6,060. Inig-ada na nila tanan mugawas ang kaning 28,950. So mo na ang so sa ang pasabot ini is ang 28,950 mo na ang imong kinahanglan nga invest para inig after 4 years inig year 5 na mag-start na og college ang katong daughter, pwede na siya maka-withdraw og 15,000 ana sa inig first year ni siya, inig second year na napod siya 15,000, inig third year na napod siya 15,000, ja inig ka year 8 mo withdraw na po siya 15,000 kay bali inig withdraw na ni siya aning 15,000, ang balance ana ni siya is ma-zero na. Ma-zero baliwa na isod, so igo-igo ra, so ug may invest og 28,950 mapaigo ra to kay tungod sa annual rate of return. So napanaylain si nga paamagi og unsaon pag-calculate. So ato pud ta siyang i-discuss og unsaon. So first, you can calculate the present value of the 4-year annuity evaluated at the end of year 4. Remember that this is the same as the beginning of year 5. This calculation is made by multiplying the annuity amount 15,000. So 15,000 ano to? So kuha na nila is 15,000 then ato na siya i-multiply sa present value sa PVIF sa bali 4 years siya. 4 years. So balik ta dire sa kuan, so 12% siya no. Diya bali 4 years man siya. So ang atong tanaw na ni is kanina pong 1 2 3 4. Ang kaning 1 2 3 4 nga interest rate ato na siyang i-add diya makuha ni nato ang 3.037. So times 3.037 and i-multiply na nato makuha na nato ang 45,555. So inig kuha na to sa 45,555 dire evaluated at the end of year 4. Kinahanglan na po nato na i-discount balik ang sa present time. So hence we multiply ang 45,000 sa ika 4 years na sa ika 4 year ni jang interest rate na pod. So 0.6636 kaning ngit kita kadyo. Ito i-clear ba? So dili ta balik sa 0.636 sa ika 4 years. So ang kaning 45,555 ato na i-multiply na pod og 0.636 multiply na to ato makuha ang 28,973. So makita na to nga lahi silang value ang 28,950 dire is 28,973. Well, ma-explain na siya tungod kay sa kanis nga style kay ang uban mga decimal points kay dili sa kaning diri sa pikas ang uban decimal points dili na ma-appeal. So diri kay giad naman, so mo nang ang kani dira kay na-appeal naman ang ubang decimal points mo nang mas dako jud siya pero dili ra na siya mag-matter kay medyo gamay ra siya ang difference. So ingatan ra ang pag lain nga puro mas pag-calculate sa deferred annuity. So if you have 28,973 today, i-invest nimo karon dayon at in an account that earns 12% per year, there will be exactly enough money in the account to permit your daughter to withdraw $15,000 at the beginning of each year in college for each year in college. So ihaya sa imong daughter no kay inig first year ni dyan as 15,000, second year 15,000, third year 15,000, fourth year 15,000. So bali ini ka fourth year sa last withdrawal ni dyan sa 15,000, ang account nimo is ma-zero. So okay na kay na may kwarta ang imong anak kapang gasto. So that is all for my report. If na may mga questions. Nasa like questions? So if wala man may questions, thank you for not asking questions and goodbye. I will be followed by my Migo.
Thank you, Miss Jean and Mr. Roberto. How was it, juniors? Unta nakasubay ra mo dira. Nakasubay ra unta mo. Sana nga. Or nagbagot-bot na mo dira kay igutom na mo. Bitaw kalmara mo kay last topic na ni. Atong next topic is compounding periods and effective interest rates. To be reported by your ever dedicated host. Sama na ilang mga your Migo, si Mi. Way gutom kung nindot ang topic. Sige ra, padadyon ta. Ako rin mawiun ang katong kapaspas ni Stas kay maghinay-hinay ra pud ta karon. Okay ra ninyo nga maghinay-hinay ta. Once again, my name is Renz Jan Lacerna. I'm your host and I will be your last reporter. Topic is compounding periods and effective interest rates. we will discuss the effects of compounding periods on present and future values. So first is that the frequency of compounding or the compounding terms is very important in determining the future values of a present values. So, sa atong given example ganina, sa report ni Miss Cindy Lador, is that the formula for in computing compound interest equation is that future value is equal to present value times 1 plus I raised to the power of n, wherein I is the interest rate and n is the number of periods of the... Basta mo na na. But first, let me give you that there are two types of interest rates. The first is the nominal interest rate and the second is effective interest rate. With a denomination of I, the nom, di na inom ha, I na nga na ay no, basta kasabot na mo ana, and sa effective interest rate is IEFF. Proceed ta. Since kani nga formula, the future value FV is equal to PV times 1 plus I raised to the power of n is only applicable to interest that is compounded annually. Annually ra hati man kani nga formula is for annually ra. So natay pangutan na. So what if maghatag sila og interest pero di compounded annually? So muna atong tukion karong sa ahong topic, if di kay compounded annually ra, what if more than or sa usa ka tuig kadaghan ni compound ang interest rates? So from this equation, maka aton sa isang naka-formulate ta og lain nga equation, kani nga equation. So future value is equal to PV times 1 plus nominal interest divided by M raised to the power of M times N, where the I nom is the nominal interest rate and M is for the compounding frequency and N for the number of years. So when we say compounding frequency, mao ni sidya ang numbers of kapila gi-compound nag interest sa usa ka tuig. Nasabtan ra. So example sa atong question, sa atong formula, if di kay annually ra is kani compounded semi-annually. So mausab ang atong formula sa FV is equal to PV times 1 plus nominal interest divided by 2 raised to the power of 2n. So di pa man given ang number of periods but given naman ang frequency of compounding frequency nga 2, nganong 2 man. So sud sa usa ka tuig compounded semi-annually, so every 6 months, so kaduha siya sa usa ka tuig mo nang 2. Ang important ang ato orang pirmitiman-an sa akong report is ang number of compounding frequency and the number of years. So proceed ta. So kani sa compounded quarterly pud ni 4 by every 3 months. Kaya ba na taana? Actually human namin nato nga topic, senior high pa sa mga IBM siguro, sa uban pa wa pa siguro. So example, find the future value FV of $1,000 compounded semi-annually at a nominal interest rate of 10,000 per year. So what is asked? Unsa man ang gipangita? So siyempre future value ang gipangita, 1,000 nga present value compounded semi-annually at a nominal interest rate of 10% per year. What is given? Unsa man ang gihatag ani nga problem? So natay gihatag nga present value compounding frequency semi-annually. So ang atong value sa M is 2. Nominal interest given at 10% per year. So meaning wa may gihatag nga wa man naghatag og pila ka number of periods. So matik 1 year na siya. So number of period is equal to 1. What is the formula? Muna na atong formula. FB is equal to PV times 1 plus nominal interest divided by M raised to the power of N, M times M, N. So So ato nang solvon given sa katong mga gipanghatag nga mga values. Substitute the given values. Nominal interest at 10%, M2 kay semi-annual man, number of periods is 1. Since ang atong present value is $1,000, muna na pa substitute 1,000 times 1 plus 10% divided by 2 raised to the power of 2 times 1. Ang atong unahog solve ani kay bawa naman siguro ta nga kining aside atong unahog solve before na to i-times sa 1,000. So the future value of $1,000 given at a rate of 10% annually, compounded semi-annually sa 1 year period is $1,000, 102.50 semi-annually. Then if magkataas pa ang atong compounding frequency is magkadako po ang atong future value. Muna sa atong topic nga effects of compounding periods sa future value of a present value of cash flows. So if ang ato kunong compounding periods is quarterly, mao ni ang atong future value sa $1,000, 1,103.81. Effects of different compounding frequencies on future values of $1,000 at a 10% interest rates. Mao ni ang table based sa atong example ganina nga problem nga ang 1,000 with a 10% interest rate. Mao ni sidya if yearly ra, so 10%, ilargo ra sidya sa kadtong formula sa compounded annually, semi-annually, 1,000 mo to atong answer ganina, quarterly, kana monthly, daily, continuously. So muna na kay bawon mo ana. Padadyon ta, proceed ta. Thus, the more frequent the compounding, the greater the future value of the deposit and the greater the effective interest rates. Agree? Agree ra mo. Kay bawon mo nga mo to giingon nga if magkataas ang compounding frequency is magkataas pud ang atong future value kay kadaghan man si siyempre kadaghan siya i-compound ang interest kadaghan i-compound so magkataas pud ang i-multiply. Napoy mga instances nga if ganahan ta makahibaw og pila ang atong invest nga moabot ta nga ni nga kwarta. Kita ganahan ko makakwarta ko og $2,000 siguro. Pila man akong i-invest ani nga given nga nominal interest og compounding frequency. So mo po ni ato po ning isgutan karon. The relationship between present values and compound values suggests that present values will also be affected by the frequency of compounding. Yes. Ang imo pong present value or ang imong initial investment to come up or to kanang basta mo abot ka ani nga future value is maapektuhan pod og pila ka frequency of compounding, pila ka compounding frequency. So from ani nga formula, since ang gihatag ani nga formula is for future value man, what if ang present value ang atong pangitaon? So ato na sisang basta kanang usbon into this. Ang atong new formula for the present value of multiple compounding frequencies is that present value is equal to future value divided by 1 plus nominal interest divided by m, compounding frequency, times our raised to the power of m times n. Example problem based sa kadtong kuan. Bago na to nga formula. Find the present value PV of a future value FV amounting $1,000 compounded quarterly at a nominal interest rate of 10% per year. So ang ato na pong gipangita ko no is ang present value. Pila mo kuno ang atong ibutang nga initial money aron ta maka-come up og $1,000 nga compounded quarterly nga naay gihatag nga 10% after 1 year. So per year wa may gihatag og pila ka number of periods, so automatically 1 year na siya. Given future value kani ang atong kani ang given, kani dapat in the future kani ang makuha. Nominal rate 10%, compounding frequency 4. So mo na nino ang atong compounding frequency is 4 na since sa given nga problem is compounded quarterly man. So every 3 months and then kaupat ka mag-compound sa imong nominal interest sa usa ka tuig. Number of periods, 1 year. Sa given nga formula atong ipan-substitute ang mga value. So atong future value is 1,000, interest rate 10%, compounding frequency since compounded quarterly siya, so 4 raised to the power of 4 times number of periods 1 year. So ang ato kunong present value or ang atong initial amount para maka-come up ta og $1,000 after 1 year with a given compounding frequency quarterly og 10% per year is $905.95. Kani kuno ang atong present value nga dapat atong i-initial nga ibutang aron ta moabot anang $1,000. So magatag na pug kog table sa effects of different compounding frequencies on present values of $1,000 at a 10% rate. So ang maapektuhan na pud ingani nga kuan is ang present values na pod. Di na pod ang future values. Muna na siya. Mao ni ang atong example, compounded quarterly 905.95 sud sa 1 year. So if annually kuno, yearly is natay $909.09. So sa inyong nakita ingani nga table, is magkagamay ang atong present value kung magkadako ang atong compounding frequency. Nga naman. Isa erase and erase. Nga naman, meaning if mas daghan siya i-compound ang interest rate is mas gamay og initial nga money ang kailangan aron ta maka-come up ana nga future value. So sa atong given is quarterly man. So mas dako-dako siya kung ikumpara nimo sa nag-compounded daily. Kay mas kadaghan man ang compounded daily, kapila man siya daghan mag-compounding frequency sa interest kaysa quarterly. Karon nato na pong hisgutan ang difference sa nominal interest rate versus effective interest rate. Mao na ang last topic sa akong ang report unta nakasunod ra mo. So nominal interest rate refers to the interest rate before taking inflation into account. Nominal can also refer to the advertised or stated interest rate on a loan without taking into account any fees or compounding of interest. Ang kani ko nung time na? Kapit na? Ang kaning nominal interest is mo ni ang ihatag bitaw sa mga bangko nga without kanang compounding. Murag simple ra siya ba? Simple interest. Tahay if given nominal interest rate nga 10%, ang kana nga 10% mo ra gazon ay ihatag sa imong present value or sa future value kanang di na siya i-compound as isra na annually. So per year. So ang effective annual interest rate is the real return on any interest-paying investment when the effects of compounding over time are taken into account. It also reveals the real percentage rate owed in interest on a loan, a credit card, or any other debt. So usually sa mga bangko is ang ilang ipanghatag isang nominal interest ra, pero maghatag na sila og kanang compounding frequencies. So unsa man nato pagkahibaw og pila man jud ang atong effective annual interest? Ang kini kunong effective annual interest is the real percentage. Pila man kuno. Kaya ang sa nominal is ang yearly raman ang kwentahon. So what if ang i-offer nila is more than ang compounding frequencies is more than 1. So atong mag-compound semi-annually, munang nakalahi sila the effective annual interest is the real percentage rate owed in interest on a loan. Atong kitahon example. Nominal, a $1,000 investment that has a 6% interest rate annually is expected to earn of 1,060 at the end of the period. So, gilargo rin siya 6% sa 1,000. Sa effective is 1,000 investment that has 6% interest rate annually and is compounded semi-annually. The investor will receive $30 of the interest payment for the first 6 months. So, maka-earn ako no to. Then after, i-carry over to siya sa imong investment is ang katong investment mo nga 1,000 and then kadto na pud ang tagaag interest. So ang present value plus kadtong earnings ana nga ana nga half of the year, kana na pod ang kwintahon para sa next year na pod. So at the end of the year, nakay total effective the effective rate is $6.09 while ang nominal rate is 6% ra. Effective rate calculations muna siya. Pagkwenta, effective is equal to 1 plus nominal interest. Siya, wala naman po di po ni kaadso bearing siguro. So I think that is it for my report. Yeah, thank you for listening. Unta nakasunod ra mo and na sila pangutan na. Na sila pangutan na. Na may questions? Okay, thank you for not asking questions. Thanks. Muna to, that's it for our webinar. Gutom na sila? Gutom na mo? Kami na po, kami po. So that is it for our webinar, mga migo and mga miga. Hope you learned something today or na-refresh mo sa inyong past learnings. Okay, amurang isend ang PowerPoint o video discussion, amurang isend sa inyong mayors and mga mayors na imuhatag ninyo, okay? Again, thank you for listening and not asking any complicated questions. We will be sending evaluation forms in the chat box here in Zoom. Kindly please take time to answer that. Thank you. And also we will be giving out quiz via Google Forms. Ang results is adto na padong ni Sir TJ. Si Jai mo evaluate sa inyong answer sa Google Forms, okay? I think that concludes everything. Once again, thank you for coming, attending to our webinar. Have a great day ahead. Stay safe, stay at home, and most importantly, stay healthy. Bye. Tagarnig na kong evaluation. Baka naman. Evaluation na dako ha. Baka naman.